What is up, DTV? I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend. Once again, I'm Eric Dave's friend, here to review Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 6, Blood of My Blood. And after last week's very emotional episode, this week had a lot of couple characters we haven't seen in a very long time return. And one of them has me very excited, so I'm going to start with that. So, the episode starts right where last week left off. Mira Reed's carrying Bran, who's in war mode, as far as she can. The Whites are after them. But when Bran's in war mode, we see some things we haven't seen before. We see glimpses of the Mad King. We hear him say, burn them all. And we see a quick shot of Jaime driving the sword in his back. And, Bran sees himself falling from the tower, his father's beheading. When the White Walkers in the previous season showed how they were taking Craster's babies and making them White Walkers, a whole bunch of stuff. But eventually, Mira has to stop. Bran wakes up, and finally, and it looks like they're surrounded. They're going to die. The Whites are about to kill them. In comes a hooded figure on a horse with this awesome, cool weapon, wipes them all out, and tells Mira and Bran, "Come with me." And later in the episode, they're at it like a campfire, and Bran says to him, "Who are you?" And the hooded figure goes, "Last time I saw you, you were climbing up the castle walls, scaring your mother." He takes his hood off. It's Benjen Stark. Yes, Cold Hands is Benjen Stark, which is a character I didn't know if the show was going to introduce. I hope that they would have, and they did, and I'm so happy to see Stark return. So he explains to Bran what happened to him. He went out for a scouting party back in season 1 and was never seen again, and he says the White Walkers caught him, left him to be turned into a White Walker, but he was saved, and what saved him was Dragonglass, and that's also what we saw last week, what created the White Walker. So very interesting stuff. And he says to Bran goes, you have to be ready because the Night King's going to come. And Bran's like, I don't, Three-Eyed Raven's dead. And Benjen goes, you are the Three-Eyed Raven now, so you're going to have to be ready. So it's cool. I'm cool that they brought the character in. I think he's going to be a great addition to the show. He's going to help Bran's story, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Yep. So happy to see Cold Hands, aka Benjen Stark, on the show. Good job. So next, I'm going to talk about King's Landing. So King Tommen is speaking with the High Sparrow. The High Sparrow's like, look, Marjorie has to do this atonement. It's the only way. His usual mumbo jumbo stuff. But he says to him, do you want to see Marjorie? He, of course, says yes. So he sees Marjorie. They embrace, tells her how much he misses her. And she looks totally possessed. Like she's totally all in with this faith stuff with the High Sparrow. But it's all an act. It's a complete act. And she sells it so brilliantly that you would never know it was an act, even though we know it's an act. She is so good at playing the game. And so I love the actress. I love the character. She's awesome. She talks to the king, and he's like, yes, I know of the High Sparrow, and she says, he's not so bad, and she gets in Tommen's ear. So a little later in the episode, she's supposedly going to do a walk of atonement. She's presented before everyone, with the High Sparrow standing next to her. In comes the Tyrell army, led by Jaime Lannister and Marjorie's father, as well as the Queen of Thorns is also there. So Jaime says, I'm here for Queen Marjorie and for Loras Tyrell. There's not going to be any walk of shame, and we'll kill every last one of you if we have to. And the Sparrow goes, we welcome that, that would be great, we welcome it. But it's not going to happen today, because there's not going to be any walk of atonement, because Marjorie has atoned by bringing someone new into the faith. And who is it? It's the king. It's Tommen. He comes out and says there's a new alliance between the crown and the faith, and Lord Tyrell goes to the Queen of Thorns and says, what the heck just happened here? And she says, this High Sparrow just beat us, because he's also very good at playing the game, so to speak. Even though I hate him and I wanted the faith to be wiped out, you got to give it to him. He's good because now he has the crown's protection, so to speak. So the next scene we see is Tommen is stripping Jaime of being, Lord Commander of the King's Guard, He tells him he's sending him to River Run to take it back. It's in trouble, which I'll get to a little bit later. And Jaime's pissed. He's like, I was the King's Guard before you were even born, and he's upset. But he talks to Cersei. He's like, the Sparrow has taken her son, and what are we gonna do? She says, you know what? You'll go to River Run. You'll take back this castle with it's ours. And when her and Jaime embrace and like kiss and stuff, it always kind of creeps me out because they are brother and sister twins. It's gross, but so that's where he's going to go because what I'm going to get to next is going to tie into all of it. We also catch up with Walder Frey, who we have not seen since the season 3 finale, and he's pissed about losing the Riverlands to the Blackfish, who escaped the Red Wedding, and his sons are telling him, we can't take the castle back. There's nothing we can do. He says, you know what, there are things we can do. We can show him who did get married at the Red Wedding. In comes Edmure, Catelyn's brother, who got married at the Red Wedding to Rosalind Frey, who's been a hostage all this time. And I always wondered what his reaction was when he found out his whole family, like most of his family, were just slaughtered. I mean, it had to be horrifying for him. So he's been a hostage all this time of Walder Frey's, and Walder Frey's going to use him, obviously, to try to get to the Blackfish. And I really want Walder Frey to have a gruesome death, because I hate him. He deserves it. He's an evil person. So hopefully he gets his just due. We'll see what happens with that. So that's the story with all the happenings there. So next I'm going to get to Arya. And she has this mission to poison this actress she was given by Jaqen H'ghar, and she's watching another play, and this play is The Purple Wedding, where Joffrey died, and she's enjoying seeing the play and him die, but she hated Joffrey, and she never got to witness him die. She goes backstage while they're performing, and she puts the poison in where she's supposed to. But then, when the play's done, she starts talking to the actress she's supposed to kill, and you can see she likes the actress. She doesn't want to kill her. So later on, the actress goes to drink where the poison is, but Arya at the last minute slaps it out of her hand, saves her, and says, this other actress wants you dead. The bad news is the Wraith from the House of Black and White saw the whole thing, reports back to Jaqen H'ghar. Arya did not complete the mission. You said I could kill her if she didn't, and he says, fine, but don't make her suffer. So, but while this is going on, Arya's retrieving Needle. And like I said last week, she's always going to be a Stark. She'll never be no one. And I think she's going to put Needle to good use against the Wraith and against all her enemies, because I want her to get out of this House of Black and White stuff, get back out into the world and kick some ass, because that's what she does best. So hopefully, we'll see what happens with that, but it was pretty cool. Progression, which is what I'm happy about. Next, we caught up with Sam and Gilly, and we got to meet Sam's family, and he warns Gilly before they even arrive there, don't let my family know you're a wildling. That would not be a good thing. So, they're at dinner. Sam's mother seems nice, his sister seems nice, but his father is a total dick, Randall Tully. He is a dick. He chastises Sam for being overweight, and he brings up this sword that's on the wall that's Valyrian steel, and he says, it's supposed to go to my heir, and you'll never have it, Sam, because you renounced all that, and you're not worthy of it. And Gilly speaks up for Sam, which I liked. She spoke up for a man, and but she accidentally lets something slip, and he picks up Sam's father that she's a wildling, which, of course, makes him very upset. Once again, chastises Sam, and agrees to let Gilly and the baby stay there. He says she can work in the kitchen and stuff like that, but, he's a dick. But so later, Sam's saying goodbye to Gilly and baby Sam, and because he wants to go train to become, the Maester of the Night's Watch. And he leaves, and then 10 seconds later, he comes storming back in, tells his woman and the baby, you're coming with me, we're not being separated. And he's going to bring them along. But the great thing about the whole thing was, when he leaves, he takes the sword, the Valyrian steel sword, which I love, which we know Valyrian steel can kill White Walkers, so it's going to come into play. So way to go, Sam, stepping up to your father. Double thumbs up for you, good job. So, finally, And there's after I talk about what happens, there's an interesting theory floating around I want to talk about. We get to Daenerys. So she's talking to Dario about things and with the Dothraki behind her, and she notices something in the, something she sees, and she says, "Wait here." She goes with her horse. We don't know where. Time goes by. Dario starts to get worried, and he's like, where is she? What's going on here?" So finally, we see Drogon. He's flying around. She's on his back. She stops with him, and she makes this rousing speech to the Dothraki. Will you help me conquer the Seven Kingdoms? You'll all be my blood riders, and just gets them all inspired. And Dario is just once again in awe of the soul of everything. But when I was watching HitFix's review Sunday night, Rolf Cornett and Donna Dickens brought up a very interesting theory and point. Could Daenerys become a tyrant, become evil? Not wanting to be evil or a tyrant, but could she still become one? And, her speech was rousing, but it was very militaristic, and it did sound almost like a dictator would sound. So, is that an avenue they're going to go down? I think it'd be extremely fascinating if they did. It would be totally in line with George R.R. Martin. It would be totally something he would do. Will it happen? Who knows? But it's something at least to think about, and it was a really good point they made, so I wanted to bring it up. But, overall it was a good setup episode for the rest of the season. For the final 4, we were down to the final 4 episodes, and I think they're all going to be so amazing. I can't wait to see what happens. But yeah, I think it was a good setup episode for the rest of the season. So that's what I thought. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to DTV, and I will see you guys next week. See ya.